Picture this. You're in the heart of Wuhan, a city that not long ago was locked down, cut off from the world. And now, something remarkable is happening there. Robotaxis, driverless cars without a steering wheel or even a human driver, are quietly turning that city and much of China into a high-tech preview of the future. As of early 2025, companies like Baidu's Apollo Go and AutoX have already racked up over 50 million autonomous miles, with their robotaxi fleets spreading from Beijing to Shanghai, Shenzhen, and beyond. Meanwhile, over in the US, the picture's a little different. The robotaxi rollout feels cautious, even a bit slow. Players like Waymo and Cruise are battling regulations, growing public skepticism, and high-profile controversies. While you can ride a robotaxi in Phoenix or San Francisco, you're not going to see them in every neighborhood just yet. So, why is China pulling ahead? Is it their technology, the policy framework, the way their culture handles innovation, or is there something even bigger at play? That's what we're going to dig into today: how China's robotaxi boom came to be, why the US is lagging, and what it says about the growing competition between two very different world powers. And we're not just talking about transportation, we're asking a much bigger question. If China masters autonomous mobility before the US, what might it lead in? Back in 2018, few people really noticed what was going on in China's autonomous vehicle scene. All eyes were on Silicon Valley, companies like Waymo, a spin-off from Google, while Baidu and AutoX quietly put the framework in place for a dramatic transformation. Baidu, often called China's Google, launched its robotaxi service, Apollo Go, in 2020, and by 2022, it had secured the country's first permits to operate fully driverless robotaxis, without a human fallback, in multiple cities. While the US was wrestling with regulators, Beijing opened the floodgates for innovation. Today, Apollo Go services over 10 cities, delivering a ridebook-on-demand experience that feels less sci-fi and more, well, normal. How did this happen? A big piece of it comes down to policy. In the US, each state sets its own regulations, a messy patchwork. But in China, policy signals come directly from Beijing. The central government made autonomous driving a key priority in its Made in China 2025 strategy. Cities fell in step, clearing the way for pilot programs, setting aside special districts, and fast-tracking their expansion. This kind of coordination lets companies move faster, turning prototypes into real-world services, much faster than we're seeing in America. And passengers? They're not afraid, they're excited. It feels like we're already living in the future. Honestly, it's smoother than most human drivers I've had, a Baidu customer told a Chinese news outlet. The future feels convenient, even a little magical. Meanwhile, in the US, there's a dramatic contrast. Companies are wrestling with a confusing patchwork of state regulations and growing public skepticism. Waymo, the industry leader, might be farther along technically, with over 40 million autonomous miles under its belt. But its robotaxi service is limited. A few neighborhoods in Phoenix, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Operations are geo-fenced, restrictive, and slowly growing. And then there's Cruise. The GM-owned company faced a major controversy in 2023 when a pedestrian was injured after a collision with its autonomous vehicle, fueling a backlash and causing regulators to revoke its permits. This kind of incident resonates, adding to growing doubts about the technology's readiness. Some of this comes down to culture. Americans are fiercely independent. We care a lot about individual rights, liability, and consent. So when something goes wrong, the questions pile up. Who's responsible? The company, the coder, the manufacturer? This nervousness shows up in opinion polls too. A 2023 Pew Research survey found that only 26% of Americans would feel comfortable riding in a fully autonomous vehicle, a dramatic contrast to 48% in China. And there's a geographical hurdle as well. US cities are messy and complex, a labyrinth of different road conditions, whereas many Chinese cities are new, well-planned, and designed with technology in mind. Elon Musk put it boldly in 2024 when he said, "China is likely to be the first country to scale fully autonomous driving." And when someone like Musk says something, you pay. So, is this a race? Did China already win? It's not that simple. This is a competition with two very different perspectives. Two futures with their own pros and cons. China's companies are vertically integrated. Their autonomous vehicle platforms connect directly to their mapping services, their data centers, their chips, and their city planners. This lets them learn faster and move forward boldly, but it also means vast amounts of data are captured, often with few safeguards or controls, fueling worries. In contrast, the US ecosystem is decentralized. It's a messy mix of companies, regulators, innovators, lawyers, and civic groups. This messiness might slow progress, but it also prevents a rush toward a future without sufficient oversight or consideration for consent and safety. Meanwhile, the US still maintains a strong lead in chip design, software innovations, and a growing framework for responsible autonomous technology. So the race isn't over, it's just different. Some say we're not competing toward the same finish line. The US might be aiming for a future where freedom and control are kept in balance, while China focuses on pure scale and domination. The rise of robotaxis isn't just a story about transportation. It's a story about a world reshaped by technology, policy, culture, and power. China's fast rollout shows us what's possible when a country aligns its resources toward a common objective. The US shows us the necessity and the messiness of wrestling with difficult questions alongside innovation. Ultimately, this isn't a battle to see who crosses the finish line first. It's a battle to define the kind of future we want. Do we want control and surveillance, or consent and oversight? Because in the end, the real question isn't just who gets there first, but who gets it right.